This is what the Palestinians have been living with for over a year. The fires, the bombs, the destruction, the killing, the maiming. We've got out here, I don't know if you can see it, but we've got a replica child's coffin, and we've also got blood on the Israeli flag, and we've got the smoke and the destruction in the background. The United Nations Secretary General, Mr. Guterres, on the, just after the 7th of October last year, he said that what happened on the 7th of October in Israel didn't happen in a vacuum. And he's absolutely right. The 7th of October didn't start at 1 minute past midnight on the 7th of October. It started on the 2nd of November 1917, with the Balfour Declaration. That is when the 7th of October 2023 actually started. Since then, the Palestinian people have been living under Zionist occupation for 107 years in different forms, in different guises. And we know the consequences of the recent activities happening in Gaza. In excess of 42,000 adults and children have been murdered, civilians. And in fact, the figure is much higher than that. The Lancet has said, the British Medical Journal, that they estimate in excess of 186,000 people have died, either directly from the bombings or indirectly from the weaponization of the food, the weaponization of the water, the weaponization of the medication. And of course, there are people buried under the rubble. And it's interesting to juxtapose what is happening in Gaza with what is happening in Kiev or the Ukraine in general. The Ukraine has a population of 38 million. According to the United Nations Commissioner for Human Rights, they're saying that in the period 2.5 years ago that the situation in Ukraine has been going on, that 35,000 civilians have died. They've got 38 million people. Gaza, which is smaller than Barbados. Barbados, as we know, is 166 square miles. Gaza is 140.9 square miles. It has 2.5 million people. And the equivalent, if you were to compare it with the Ukraine, would be 3 million, if on an equivalence basis, 3 million civilians being killed in a year in the Ukraine. And yet we hear from Washington, from London, from Brussels, talk about the Ukrainians having a right to defend themselves. There's never any talk about the Palestinians having a right to defend themselves. They've been under occupation, as I said, since the Balfour Declaration, 107 years. But they have no right to defend themselves. And every day, I'm told by my contacts in the Palestinian Authority, American transport aircraft are landing at Tel Aviv airport. Huge transport aircraft. They need long runways, and that's why they're using the Tel Aviv airport to land. Bringing in 2,000-pound bombs. We hear the nonsense coming from the mouth of Biden and Harris saying, oh, we want a ceasefire. And yet they're throwing fuel on the fire. Every day they're bringing in bombs. 2,000-pound bombs. Imagine if that were happening in Barbados. 2,000-pound bombs falling on Barbados for over a year. Imagine the devastation that would be. And then think as well that the population over there on a smaller area than Barbados is 2.5 million. Imagine the consequences. They're deliberately destroying all the infrastructure. It's even more than a genocide, if that is possible. It's an extermination. They're exterminating the Palestinian people, and the world is standing by complicit. And with all due respect to Mr. Commission, who is the Barbadian CARICOM ambassador, CARICOM also is complicit because they haven't done anything to sever diplomatic relations with Israel. Had it been South Africa, there would never have been any diplomatic relations with apartheid South Africa. We were in the vanguard of the struggle against apartheid in South Africa. Sports boycotts, trade boycotts, diplomatic boycotts. But yet we maintain diplomatic relations with a regime that our Honorable Prime Minister said is committing televised genocide. Why aren't we following at least in the footsteps of Belize? They haven't severed diplomatic relations, but they suspended diplomatic relations. That is what we at least should do. And in fact, I would go further, as I said, we should sever diplomatic relations. We should close down this consul's office. Just across the road, there's the Israeli Honorary Consul's office in Iran Limited. We wanted to protest there, the police wouldn't give us permission, so we're here. But why are we allowing that office to exist in Barbados? It needs to be closed down, it needs to be closed down now, right? And maybe we should organize citizens' action and occupy the blasted place. Close it down ourselves. If the government won't close it down, we should close it down. So I'm calling upon the Barbadian government, I'm calling upon CARICOM to immediately sever diplomatic relations with Israel. It is grotesque, it's obscene, it's unacceptable that we are maintaining diplomatic relations with what in effect is a fascist regime. Thank you.